So lesson 2.7 is absolute value functions and graphs. So yes, it's graphing. I'll be honest. Once you learn how to do an absolute value graph, though, they are very easy. Okay, we're just doing the basics. The basics are very easy. Now, you still have your notes or you still have the gold papers, right? Because those charts we just learned yesterday, we get to use them. We're going to apply those charts. Okay, we're going to learn how to do an absolute value graph. We're going to translate them. We're going to reflect them. We might do some stretch and compressions. But that's what this whole lesson is about. Now, before we can use the chart, we need to know, what does an absolute value graph look like? Do you know off the top of your head what an absolute value graph looks like?
Something with two different
Probably not. Okay. Okay. Now, if you don't know what a graph looks like, what's our go-to method if we don't know what the graph looks like?
Start graphing. Start graphing.
In order to start graphing,
You have to have an XY chart.
we're going to set up an XY chart. Because, it's not like, oh, this is y equals mx plus b, we can use slope. No. There's absolute value. That changes the game. So, what are good x values that we like to use?
1, 2, 3, 4. 0, 1, 2, 3. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, 1, 2.
Yeah. Now, here's the deal. 0 is always one of my go-to numbers. I love 0 because it's easy. 1, 2, good, nice, easy, positive numbers. Sometimes you can get away without negatives. If you go without negatives here, you're totally going to miss what's going on with this graph. Okay, so we need negatives. Now, our equation we're graphing is y equals absolute value of x. If I put negative 2 in for x, what is the absolute value of negative 2? 2. Because what do absolute value bars do to a number?
Take away negatives.
Take away negatives, okay? Remember, absolute value by definition is distance from 0. Well, negative 2 is 2 away from 0. What is the absolute value of negative 1?
1.
1. Absolute value of 0?
0.
0. Absolute value of positive 1?
Negative 1.
1. Okay.
So that means
absolute value. You guys said take away the negative. If there's no negative to take away, it just stays positive. Or distance from 0. How far is 1 from 0? 1. How far is 2 from 0? 2. Okay, let's graph these. Negative 2, positive 2 is going to take me 2 left, 2 up. Negative 1, 1.
To the left one, up one.
Left 1, up 1. 0, 0.
Middle of the graph.
1, 1.
Over 1 to the right and down 1.
How about right 1?
I did it
up
wrong.
1. And 2, 2.
Oh, no.
Right 2, up 2. It's small in the amount of dots I have written. However, does my V end there?
No, it keeps going.
There you go, to infinity and beyond. There you go, Buzz. You got it. Okay, so here's the deal, guys. In lesson 2.7, everything you graph is going to have absolute value in the equation. That means every picture we graph is going to be a V. Maybe it's a right side up V. Maybe it's an upside down V. Maybe it's skinnier. Maybe it's wider. Maybe it moved left or right. Maybe it moved up or down. But it's all going to be V's. Okay? So, things to realize here, guys. Your original V is centered at 0, 0. And what is the slope of the sides of that V? A typical slope is going to go
up
1 over 1, yes?
Yeah.
So on the right side of the V, it's up 1 over 1 in the positive direction.
And then it's up 1 over 1.
And the other one is up 1 over 1 in the negative direction, yes?
Yes.
Okay. That's what, when I say absolute value graph, that's what I want you knowing.
The slope.
Okay, is that I want you to kind of know, okay, it's the V, centered at 0, 0, goes up 1 over 1 on both sides. Okay, now, look at example A here. It says, what is the graph of y equals absolute value of x minus 4. How is this graph different from the graph of the parent function, y equals absolute value of x? So our parent function, what we're graphing is always y equals absolute value of x. Now, I suggested the chart, didn't I? Okay. The chart in yesterday's notes, the gold chart. What do you think that minus 4 is going to do to my graph?
Change its position.
Translate it where? Okay. There is a minus 4 at the end of the equation outside of the absolute value. That's equivalent to having an f of x minus c. F of x minus c says that it takes it down. So this one is going to, I'm going to use the official algebra word of translates
Downward.
down
4 units.
4 units. Okay, so we're going to translate down 4 units. Now, ways to do this. You have options. Okay? What I like to think is, okay, where was my original v? And take those points and move them down 4. Now, one way to do this, could you put your original points on the graph?
Yes.
You can. Obviously, in Math Excel, you can't really, but you could put, okay, my original dots were at 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, negative 1, 1, negative 2, 2. I'm not going to connect those because that's not my answer, is it?
Will those always be your original?
Those are always your original dots. As long as we're talking absolute value of x. What am I going to do with each of those dots?
You gotta move them down 4
Move them down 4. Now, for me, easiest thing to do is to take the vertex and move the vertex down 4. And then what's going to be the relation from the vertex? Up 1 over 1?
Yeah.
Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Graph.
So on quizzes, we're allowed to use our original.
Yes, you can put the original, like what I did.
Okay.
Yeah, like if you put this on the quiz, and I see 2 sets of points, one of them is just sitting there as points, the other is connected with arrows, with lines. I'm going to go with, okay, the one with lines is your answer to me. The other was just kind of your beginning points, and I'm fine with that. Obviously, Math Excel won't be fine if you put in 2 sets of points or anything like that, but I'm fine with it.
It'll flip out.
Now, hold on. We got a couple questions to answer. So how is this graph different from the graph of the parent function, y equals absolute value of x? Well, we already did that. It's different because it translated
Downward 4.
down 4. Now, I'm preparing you for Math Excel questions. It doesn't say it here, but can you tell me what the vertex of this graph is? Do you know what I mean by vertex?
It's negative 4.
Give me an ordered pair.
0, negative 4.
Okay, so the vertex is the point of the V. It was at 0, 0. We moved it down 4. It is now at 0, negative 4. Okay, good. The other thing, can you tell me the axis of symmetry?
The y-axis. The y-axis.
Okay, so axis of symmetry is where does it cut it in half, right? What line goes through that vertex? Now, I agree y-axis. However, Math Excel is going to want an equation of a line. And so the equation of this line, all the y values are 0, or excuse me, all the x values are 0. So x equals 0. Now, your axis of symmetry is always x equals a number, and it's always the first number in the axis of symmetry. So, yes, I agree. It's the y-axis. You just can't write y-axis. Now, I like what we did with how we graphed this, and I'm guessing you guys did too. And when you're doing it for me, this is what I need. Math Excel, please sit for a moment. I haven't released you guys. Math Excel is going to ask you for an XY chart in some of their problems. My recommendation, I'm going to go through, can I go through and get these dots right here that I graphed?
Yeah.
I can figure out that this guy right here is -2, -2. The one next to it is -1, -3, 0, -4, 1, 3, 1, -3, 2, -2. That's my recommendation of, okay, you can go through and get them afterwards. The other option, listen just 2 seconds here. Notice what changed here. My y values from the original decreased by 4. Okay, we'll talk more tomorrow. Homework is not due tomorrow.